Welcome. Good morning, afternoon, and evening from wherever you're tuning in. Thank you for attending CCN's fourth webinar series. My name is Joseph, and I have the pleasure of being the moderator for this session. I've been in the crypto ecosystem for 3 to 4 years now, mining all sorts of different coins. There's tons out there, GPU mining, ASIC mining, all of them, all the mining. I'm very excited to be a part of the CCN space and be a part of this webinar today, especially their mining that takes place. It's very, very interesting. This webinar is very promising and packed with lively information that is both exciting to present to our community and our ecosystem. Alongside me in this webinar, if I had a drum, I would say drum roll please, is Dr. Lee, the POH inventor and professor at Columbia University in blockchain technology. Dr. Lee will be presenting the dynamics of the CCN token. Let's get started. What is CCN? And it is a great question. Computecoin has the vision to become the next generation infrastructure that powers all-purpose Web3 and metaverse applications. So what does this mean? 20 years ago, AWS had this vision to build a cloud for Web 1, right? At the time, Web 2.0 wasn't a thing. CCN understands this transition and the paradigm shift from Web 1 to Web 3 in the metaverse. CCN also understands AWS's and other cloud providers' inability to support these Web 3 functionalities. Research has been done today, and a majority of crypto infrastructure is ran on AWS and other centralized cloud providers. It's time for this to change and shift to be in control of the holders. Today, CCN is building what AWS and other cloud providers started 20 years ago. A very powerful visual on this slide. It shows the limits of what AWS in its small enclosed circle and how Computecoin grows and has a vast, more expansive circle, right? Web 1 and 2 cloud applications are all ran by centralized corporations on a centralized infrastructure. CCN is building the next generation of decentralized infrastructure. And I'm proud to say we are already ahead of the curve, being the leader in this domain. CCN aims to combat, Web 1 and 2.0 by becoming the foundation for the Web 3 and metaverse applications to store data, compute, and run applications in a cheap, efficient, and decentralized way. This is wildly different from the internet we see today, and it's an exciting vision for miners to be a part of. Just briefly, a little bit more history on Computecoin. Computecoin is a DAG-based chain that uses patented technology to aggregate computing resources. The computing resources are provided by our very own miners or provided from other ecosystems, such as Filecoin, Buzz, and Arweave. Ale Wallet is our native Web 3.0 wallet, and it's used to participate in our ecosystem and some of our programs. It's now on Android, iOS, and browser extensions. I ask that you do go and download it. You may be wondering, how does CCN do all of this? Well, CCN has its own mining functions, but it also has something unique, something called merged mining. This merged mining allows for more rewards to earn CCN tokens on top of earning your previous tokens. So say you have a Filecoin storage miner, you could run our merged mining client on top of that and earn CCN tokens. Say you have Ethereum GPU miners, you could run our CCN client on top of that and earn CCN tokens. And this is a unique feature to Computecoin. Right? And CCN uses 3 different types of mining: storage mining, GPU mining, and CPU mining. And we ask everybody to join. We ask everybody to join to achieve worldwide consensus. In order to have a decentralized ecosystem and keep up with the vast expanse of the current internet and the expansive Web3, Computecoin must achieve worldwide consensus. The vast majority of Web3 applications and metaverse games are ran on AWS, but CCN believes decentralized computing and storage power are the foundation for Web3 and metaverse applications. Our team has successfully deployed our own wallet, which is Ale Wallet, previously mentioned. Within 3 months, we achieved over 50,000 plus downloads, which is a great, great achievement. Just a little quick story. I don't know how many people are in the crypto ecosystem. If you do use MetaMask, I have to say the user interface is a lot more seamless and very intuitive and easy to use. So as someone who uses MetaMask and other wallets from other ecosystems, such as Polkadot.js and Phantom from the Solana ecosystem, Ale Wallet has been one of the easiest wallets to just hop into, which is fantastic. With a vast social network, CCN's first testnet Dome was able to achieve 100,000 plus mining nodes from 21 countries, which is equivalent to 4,000 petabytes of storage space and 200,000 NVIDIA 3080 mining cards. This is a milestone, and I hope more miners are ready to join our second testnet, Huygens, and token holders who may also participate in mining by providing collateral via our collateral marketplace. This allows for an interesting symbiotic relationship for token holders and mining machines to participate in consensus. Dr. Lee will now be joining the stage, who will discuss the 4 important factors of CCN tokenomics, starting with the design principle.
Great, thank you, Joseph, for the introduction. Very comprehensive and very informative. By the way, you guys can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. So, yeah, I think this webinar is one of the most webinar so far in because I in the past few months our team has received lots of requests about the tokenomics, and we all understand this tokenomics is the foundation of the project, and a well-designed tokenomics can boost the project to the next level very, very quickly, and but we all know this fact. So that's why in the past half year, I would say our research team has been working on this very, very seriously, carefully, and diligently to try to design a very good tokenomics. So this good tokenomics will be very beneficial for all the miners and for all the ecosystems. So, but as I want to present the tokenomics in the flow, in the thinking flow that we'll be using in the past few months. Is first of all, when we want to design the tokenomics, we need to be clear, super clear about the design principle. So what the tokenomics should be looks like, right? Just like when people design a 5G system. So 10 years back, when I was working with Qualcomm research, so I'm one of the first guys start to design 5G system, the chips, right? So the first year is we need to figure out the design principle for the 5G chips and what is the 5G and what's the feature of 5G. Here is the same logic. So I'm gonna first present the design principle of our tokenomics, and then I will talk about the details about collaterals, about the penalty, about the mining reward, these 3 models. Okay, so in our design principle, we care about 3 things. The first is the security, and the second is the fairness, the third is the growth. Okay, so we always keep this in mind. So let's talk about the security. So security means very straightforward to understand. We want all the providers, all the miners in our ecosystem, they can provide very secure and reliable computing power and the storage power for to our clients, right? So this is the foundation, because if you want to be the computer power and the storage power provider like AWS, right? So the clients will first question from the clients will be, is this secure? Is this reliable, right? And how we deal with the security. So we use collaterals as other projects does, like a Filecoin, for example, right? So the collaterals are required to ensure the stability, quality of service, and the security of the infrastructure network. And the next thing is the fairness, which I think CCN is very novel at this point. So the fairness means what? So the miners can easily join our network whenever and wherever. So that is, if you're an early miner, join the CCN, or you come late, let's say after 3 months, after 1 year, you come to CC network. So the total value of collateral you need to pledge, I would say, you need to pledge when you host your machine should not be dramatically changed over time. So I believe that some of you guys are Filecoin miners, right? So you see that in Filecoin tokenomics, like the early miners, they got huge benefit because they pledge a little bit, but they earn much more. But for now, the entry level, the entry requirements to the Filecoin network is very, very high because you need to pay lots of money to buy the Filecoin tokens as collaterals, right? So in CCA, we want to keep this fairness, like no matter, so even for later miners who want to join us, yeah, the door is still open to all of these guys, right? So it is the entry level is consistent, basically. So the last thing we care about is the growth, right? Because we want to be the Amazon for Web3, right? So the scalability is most important. We want to try to integrate all the computing powers, I would say as much as possible, global-wise, right? So to have a very healthy growth, make sure that the computing power is always sufficient to support the massive Web3 and Metaverse applications down the road. So with these 3 principles in mind, we come up with the tokenomics. But before I dive into the details of the tokenomics, let me give some remarks. So the Huggins testnet, which is our second testnet, and it will be the last testnet before we launch the mainnet. So the Huggins will be launched later this month. And the Huggins testnet aims to test the CCN's current tokenomics model. Because this is testnet, right? So actually, we designed this model carefully, but we cannot 100% sure this is going to be the perfect model. So that's why we want to launch this Huggins testnet to test this tokenomics, and then all the models, all the hyperparameters, and the mathematical models are subject to change based on the test results of Huggins. So and then our goal is in the mainnet launch later this year. So we're gonna have again, it may not be perfect, but it's almost, or I would say near perfect tokenomics model to benefit all, right? Okay, now in the following slides, I will talk about the most interesting thing that you guys care about. The first is the reward minting model. The second is the collateral model. And the third one is the penalty model. Okay, reward model. So this answers the question, how much I can earn if I mine CCN, okay? So the total minting reward equal to the baseline minting reward plus stake minting reward. And we reserve the total minting reward pool with 1.2 billion CCN tokens. So in total, this is our total token supply, which is 2 billion. And we reserve 60% of the total token supply as the mining reward. And for this 1.2 billion total minting reward, 70% goes to the baseline minting reward and 30% goes to the stake minting reward. Okay. Now let me dive into the details about the baseline minting reward and the stake minting reward. So the baseline minting reward, the goal is we want to use the baseline minting reward to encourage miners to join us and to keep the growth of the whole infrastructure or the whole network. Remember, the third principle in our design principle list is the growth, right? So this is quite similar to some other mining projects like a Filecoin and some others. So we have this baseline function, and which is a measure of the total computing power in our network. So, and the reward token release follows the exponential decay miner. The decay rate is 4-year half-time, which is similar to Bitcoin, right? But this this reward token release is adjusted automatically, okay, by smart contract. So by how the meta power in the network increase compared with the predefined baseline function. So I would say the baseline function is the core of the total minting reward. And now this is the simulation curve from our tokenomics. So you can see that the axis, it shows the time. So the unit for time is roughly the day. We use day, you say 500, roughly 500 day. The reason I say roughly 500 day, because in CCN, we do not have the natural time like a day, second, minutes. So basically we use our own time units. We call that meta time. So, and all these 500 days, 1000 days, so they are approximated from the meta time basically. And the meta time is defined by our DAG-based layer 1 blockchain, our in-house blockchain. So all these details will be uploaded to the Gitbook in our website, and then you can look at these articles for details about the meta time and these type of things. But for now, you can view these numbers as just days. Okay, so and you can see that the y-axis shows the beating meta power, and now in our current Dome A testnet, you see we already have 100 beating. More than 100 billion, roughly 130 billion meta power is there. So the baseline function is this. So this is our projection, okay? So let's say at the end of the first year, we projected the total meta power in CC network is projected to be around 1,000 billion meta power, which is right here, right? So at the end of the first year, and then we projected this baseline function for 10 years from now, okay? Again, based on the test results of Huggins, we're gonna fine tune this baseline function a little bit. This is not the final version, but so far this is the version for our Huggins testnet, okay? And here, I just want to show you guys something that in the back end, you know, you see the curve, which is straightforward to understand, but in behind, we have lots of mathematical model to support these results. And publish this thing in probably the coming week. And then we're gonna make an official announcement to all of you guys, and then you can go to our website and check it out, all these details, mathematical stuff. And we designed the growth curve, we designed these baseline function. And if this mathematical model shows that if the total meta power, network meta power does not meet the baseline function, how the reward will be released or distributed to the miners. Okay, we use these integrals and exponential functions, blah blah blah, to do the adjustment. But again, you don't need to worry about this math. So you can. So what you need to take away is as long as you see the baseline function here, and this is our projection, and I think that's good enough. Okay. And for the stake minting reward is, remember, we have 30% of the total reward pool goes to stake minting reward. So the basic, why we want to design this? So the basic idea is this. So for miners, from the security perspective, the miners are required to pledge, right? To put collaterals when they host the machines. This is something like you put money in a bank, right? So then the staking minting reward is saying that as long as you pledge, we're gonna give you some interest, just like you save money in the bank for 1 year. Of course, you are expecting some interest, right? 2%, 3%, or something like that, like that from the bank. And here is the same thing. As long for the miners who made the collaterals, of course, you're supposed to get some interest from this collateral, just like a POS, right? Proof of stake. So you get some, it's kind of a mining, right? Proof of stake is kind of a mining. You put your money there and you will get some interest. So here is the same logic. And I would say the stake minting reward in average gonna give you like at least a 10 to 20% of annual interest rate. interest rate. So which is pretty good, right? And so for early bird miners, because there's very few miners in the network in the very early stage, and this stake meeting reward, you get more stake meeting reward because just very few miners in the early stage. And again, similarly, this stake meeting reward follows a exponentially decay function. But again, here there's no baseline function. Okay, there's no baseline function. Only the met power, the total met power in the network follows the baseline function, but not this stake meeting reward. So here I just put one mathematical formula here, but we have a bunch of them. Again, so everyone is highly welcome to our document about this tokenomics. We're gonna release this document with all the details, all the mathematical stuff there. And if you're interested in that, you're highly encouraged to work through all the details. And also any feedback and suggestions are highly welcome and appreciated. Okay, so then this figure is important. Again, this comes from the simulation we have done. So this is total meeting reward. I think this information is extremely important because, so again, this is a projection for 10 years. Okay, so you may want to ask, so how many tokens will be mined for the first year, let's say. So if you look at this figure, let's say assume the total met power in the network exactly follows our baseline function. Okay, the baseline function. So then this is what you expected, what you can expect for in terms of total meeting reward. So let's say after the first year, this is the first day, right? 365 days, maybe at the end of the first year. So in our network, we're gonna release roughly 170 million. So the unit here is million. 170 million tokens to the miners. Okay, and then this is the projection for 10 years. 170 million is a huge amount. I would say it's a reasonable. It's not that huge, right? It's a reasonable amount of reward to the miners. But because we have this collateral mechanism as well, so these 170 million tokens will not be all available on the secondary market for circulation. So our collateral mechanism will organically to fine-tune and adjust the total token circulation in the market. So based on the simulation results we have, so the total circulation in the first year should be less than 10 millions. Okay, so this is well controlled based on from our tokenomics model. And then I think this is important because no more than 10 million circulations in the market will give us very strong foundation for the token price, right? Because then this can be easily controlled and fine-tuned by the token holders. So the token price is guaranteed. Okay, so this is about total. This is about a reward minting model. The next thing I want to talk about is the collateral model. So this is important because every single miner you need pledge, you need the collateral when you host your machine. So in Huggins, okay. So the collateral model follows this formula. So the machine initial collateral equals to the machine initial met power pledge plus the consensus pledge. Okay. So what is the machine initial met power pledge? So why we want to design this? So first of all, let me give you the solution. So the solution is okay. So the initial met power pledge is roughly 10-day expected minting rewards that the miner will receive when he or she hosted their machines in CC network. So the goal of propose this initial meta power pledge is to make sure that for any miner to join us, the miner should be a serious guy. You know, you cannot say like, oh, let's try CCN network and host my machines there, and after 1 hour or 10 hours, you say, oh no, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to do that, and then you just unhost all your machines. Okay, so if for such people like come and go, this gonna get a whole network hurts a lot, because our clients cannot have such a tolerance. Let's say, oh, the computing power is come, and after 1 hour, the computing power is gone, right? So which is not making sense at all from the client perspective. So we have lots of clients in the pipeline and applications. They want to deploy their applications on CC network. And so we must guarantee that all the computing powers on our network is very stable, is very reliable. So with that in mind, we propose this initial meta power pledge. I know that the Filecoin network also has a similar idea to make sure the reliability and the security of their network. And the second is that we call it machine initial consensus pledge. So this gonna provide, the goal of proposing this pledge is to make sure to provide the sufficient long-term security guarantees to the network. Means we're gonna, for all the miners, you should have a long-term commitment, okay, to support the CC network, to support the upper applications, Web3 and Metaverse applications, our clients, right? So we want to have this miner to make a long-term commitment that you're a serious guy, you really want to make a contribution to CC network, and then you want to earn for sure for the long term. Okay, you're an investor, you're not a gambler. We don't like gambler, we like investor. So in my view, I view all the miners are the investors of CC network. Okay, with your machine, with your rigs, with your collaterals, you are investors, and you are extremely important to our ecosystem. So for the initial meta power pledge, this is simple, just 10 days expected miner reward. And for the initial consensus pledge, basically this is a little bit complicated. So we come up with this mathematical formula. I don't want to confuse all of you guys, but here I just want to make one point. So we use this, remember, in our design principle, we care about fairness, right? So what does fairness mean? Means for miners, no matter you come today or you come 1 month later or you come 1 year later. So the cost of your collateral should not be changed dramatically over time, right? I don't think of Filecoin or some other, I see that, you know, some other project, they have such issues because for the miners who come late, let's say 1 year or 2 years later, they cannot join the network because the collateral is a huge amount of tokens and the values. They cannot afford it, right? But here, with this fairness in mind, you see we have a well-designed formula here. Let me just give you a little bit insight about this formula. So very high level idea. So you see this initial consensus pledge equals to this whole thing, right? But forget about the third term, just look at the first two. The CCN circulating supply is increasing over time, for sure, right? Then we design a PT, which is a function. We call it the pledge percentage function, which is a decreasing in time t. And in our model, we use this formula. Okay, so you see this exponentially decaying, and the bottom and with the lower bound 10% on 10%, right? So that means what? If this is a function about t, right? When t goes to infinity, the first term goes to 0. And that means PT at the end of the day going to converge to 10%. But at the very beginning, this could be 70% or 80%, and then it's decreasing over time. So you see that the PT is an exponentially decaying function. And the second part, the CCN circulating supply, is an increasing function over time. And this increasing follows an exponential increasing factor as well. So by the product of these these two terms, you see one is increasing over time, the other is decreasing over time, and their increasing speed and rate, I would say increasing rate and the decreasing rate are almost similar, almost the same. This is what we fine tune. When we fine tune the parameter, we make sure that this rate, increasing rate and decreasing rate are almost similar, almost identical. So by doing so, you will see that basically the result of doing this, okay, so you will see the collateral for the miners coming today or for the miners coming 1 month later. So the collateral will got to change, but only a little bit, not that much, not that much. So that's what we say that we want to keep the fairness for all miners, no matter where and when you join the network, okay? And here, you know, we want to answer the very critical questions from the other miners that you may want to ask. Oh, now if I join a CC network, if I want to join a CC network, how much I can earn? Okay, so I think that's a good question and a very straightforward question. And the answer, based on our tokenomics, I will say our answer is the ratio of annual minting rewards and collateral you pledge when you host your machine is around 80% to 130%. Okay, we believe this is a reasonable number, and I think this number will be good incentive to the miners for the CC long-term growth. Remember that in our principle, we want to give a sufficient incentive to the miners always for the long-term growth of our infrastructure, right? So, okay, well, this is the last part. So it's about the penalty model. So in our domain, we do not have a penalty. We're so super friendly to our early miners in domain. We appreciate all the miners in domain because you give us lots of very good feedbacks and for us to improve the technology, to improve the network. But the penalty part is most important to make sure that you know, the reliability and the security of the network in the long run. So in Huggins, we will start to implement this penalty model, and here in Huggins we only put 3 penalty tabs, but in the mainnet, which is going to be launched later this year, so we're going to have more penalty tabs. Okay. Here, just the 3 penalty tabs. They are very basic. Very, I see them as a baseline penalties. Okay, so the first penalty is offline. Of course, no one expected that the machine is offline, right? So if the machine fails to submit a proof of a machine's mining power, which is automatically submitted, and to our network. If you fail to submit this proof of machine's mining power, so the penalty gonna be like your minting, your mining rewards will be forfeited, and the penalty amount will be 2.4 times the offline machine's expected mining rewards during the offline period. Let's say you went to offline for some reason, okay, for some reason, maybe by chance or on purpose. So you're offline for 1 month, okay, let's say 30 days. And then the penalty will be like 2.4 times of maybe, so that means 2.4 months of your expected mining reward. And then this will be forfeited from your mining rewards, okay? And the second penalty, we call it early unhosting. Definitely, we do not, our applications, our clients do not hope this happen, right? So the machines, this means the machines are hosted prior to the completion of a miner's commitment. So for the collaterals in Huggins, the collaterals is required for 360 days, almost 1 year. That means if you host your machine before that, you will get some penalty. So there are 2 cases of early unhosting. The first is a miner unhosted machine. Okay, so yeah, you change your mind, right? So you just want to unhost your machine, that's fine. And the second is the machine are automatically unhosted after being offline for 14 consecutive days. Well, this is bad, right? So it's like maybe something happened to your network, to your electricity supplier, or something like that. Your machine became offline for 14 days. And if this is true, then your machine will be automatically unhosted. And then you will subject to the penalty. So the penalty is the following. So it will be the total mining rewards earned since the machine was hosted plus 10-day expected mining reward, or the mining rewards accrued in the last 60 days. So whichever is smaller. Okay, so these are two amounts, and we take the smaller amount as a penalty. Let me give you an example. Let's say I hosted my machine on CCN just for 1 day. And the second day, I changed my mind. I'm gonna leave. I don't care about CCN. I want to go. Okay, that's fine. But if that is the case, your penalty will be this. So because you host your machine for 1 day, right? You earn the reward for 1 day, and then your reward will be, the penalty will go to the first one. So the total mining reward earned since the machine was hosted means the 1 day reward plus the 10-day expected minting reward. So in total, you're gonna pay 11-day minting reward as your penalty. Okay, so this is about early and hosting penalty. The last one, which is no one expected this gonna happen, but unfortunately, we already see such activities in our domain A. But in Huggins, this will not happen anymore. So we call it malicious activity. So any types of malicious behavior to attack the network. So this is about hackers. We call it hackers, right? So or malicious node, including but not limited to the use of falsified mining power to earn mining rewards. For example, virtual machines, right? We already see some virtual machines in our domain to mine CCN tokens, which belong to this malicious activity. And if this is detected by the network, so the penalty amount will be the total amount of miners collaterals plus the locked reward. Remember that again, we follow the rule that's for the mined tokens. So we have this 180 days linear release to your wallet, and then we call this as locked reward. 70% of your mining reward will be locked for 180 days, and this amount of reward will be released in a linear fashion, which is exactly the same as domain A. We call this as a locked reward. So if for any malicious activity, so the total amount of miners collateral plus the locked reward will be forfeited. Okay. And then this is about the penalty collection process. So this shows that how system will collect the penalties from a miner's account in the following order. So the first, we're gonna draw the penalty from the locked reward in miner's account. Okay, and the second is, and we're gonna draw the penalties from available balance in the miner's account. If you still need to pay more penalty, we're gonna go to step 3, which we're gonna draw the penalty from the miner's refunded initial pledge collateral obtained when the miner's machines are unhosted. So when you unhost your machine, your collateral will be refunded, right? So then we're gonna collect the penalties from these refunded collaterals. Okay, so these are how the penalty will be collected. And in Huggins, all this penalty collection process and the penalty, these penalty mechanisms are implemented in smart contract. It's transparent, is pretty fair to everyone. So the reason of doing this is we want to make sure the whole network can grow in a very healthy way. Okay. Okay, so I think that's the all the information I want to deliver to all the miners today. And now I'm gonna give the stage to Joseph, and Joseph is gonna talk about a little bit about the early bird and the CCN ambassador program, and then later on we follow up by the Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lee. That was a very, very good presentation of CCN tokenomics. Just to reiterate, again, the tokenomics paper will be released on our website. So anybody who wants to get into the real details and the technicalities, you could give it a check. Flipping to the next slide here. We'll wait for it to load. So it's important, especially after all of that hype. People are probably going to be wondering, especially people who are new watching or participating in this webinar, how to join our ecosystem. So one of the ways is our early bird program. This was previously mentioned in one of our other webinars, actually our previous webinar, our third webinar. If you want to go back and take a look, it is on YouTube. The background of this early bird program is we have a lot of demand from existing miners and miners who want to join the network. The issue is you need CCN tokens to post collateral, right? You need to pledge your CCN tokens. This program was developed to allow new miners into the ecosystem at a guaranteed low price from CCN. One CCN equals $3. You could purchase 50K CCN, which is 150,000 USDT, and there's only a 5 million CCN token pool that will be distributed. So it's important that anybody who has the necessary machines, the necessary funds to participate and want to join our ecosystem and grow in this ever-growing consensus to follow the details on the early bird program. Our second way is to become an ambassador. So we have another workshop on this, which was our second webinar, if you would like to take a browse at that. And anybody who maybe doesn't have $150,000 laying around, or a bunch of mining machines laying around, but you're a good video editor, you have a giant social following, and you would like to just spread the word about CCN or learn about CCN and participate in our community and help others learn, become an ambassador. You could complete some of our events. Your events get you points, and your points could then reward you in CCN tokens, adding more value to the community, which is a beneficial part of any project. And then the third way is obviously to join Huygens, in which you'll be a part of this ever-building tokenomics plan here, and you'll end up getting rewarded for your participating in this early testnet phase. So the real question is, do you want to become a part of this next generation infrastructure? And the answer is simple. For me, it's a yes. I hope it's a yes for you too. Thank you all for attending. And I hope you all enjoyed this webinar on CCN's tokenomics.
Okay, thank you guys.
Cheers,
Have a nice
everybody.
day.
Have a great weekend.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Take care.